Hi everyone, today's video is an update on my Monstera Deliciosa propagation, and I will also be repotting this guy back together with the mother plant because I just want a more fuller looking plant. So this is the original plant in which I took the cutting from, and I wanted to give you guys an update on how this has been doing after a month and 5 days. So I took this cutting on September 1st, 2020, and it is now October 5 as of filming this video. So I wanted to show you the root system, how it has been doing, describe exactly what I did in order to get it this way, and then also repot it into that container. I'll also give you an update on how the mother plant is doing as well. So let's get started. This is the cutting that I took, and really it's very easy to propagate the Monstera Deliciosa. It's also a very fast grower, which is why it's one of my favorite plants to propagate. All you want to do is just look for the node. The node is where the leaf meets the stem, and you just want to cut right below the node. So let me show you exactly where I cut this one right here. Okay, so I've got out all of the roots right here, and that's where I cut it. I think I have the original video, which I will try to insert a clip of when I took this cutting. Yeah, you just want to make a clean cut. Make sure that your scissors are sterile. Put it with alcohol or hydrogen peroxide, and then you can put this into a rooting hormone, but I usually just leave it alone. I think I read somewhere that you could also put wax on it. I don't recommend doing that because I have done that before, and what happened was it just rotted at the side. So what I do is I just allow it to callus over, maybe for like around 2 hours before putting it back into water. So now that I have it in water, and this is just actually plain water, I'm not too much of like a rocket scientist that I want to check the pH level and stuff like that. So I just get regular tap water. I leave it out for a day, for about 24 hours before I put my Monstera into it. So anyways, I put this into this jar of water. I realize now that you want to have something with a little bit of a bigger mouth because it's very hard to get the plant in and out of. So I'm not going to try to insert this back in because I might destroy some of the roots. But anyways, if you are in the initial stages of propagation, you might want to look for like a wider mouth jar than this one. So this is just, yeah, regular water, and then I had this guy in there. The water, I changed it out when I first started, I changed it out every 3 days. But then after a while, you kind of forget, and this water actually has not been changed in about 2 weeks. So if it is in a bright sunny area, you will start to see a little bit of algae growing, and when that happens, I just throw out the water, rinse it out, and then put in new water. Anyways, yeah, so this is how it has been growing. Very healthy. I'm very happy with it. And what is even more surprising is that this leaf, this original shoot, was not here when I first propagated it. So now it started growing. I started noticing this about a week ago, and I was really surprised that this has been shooting out a new leaf already. So very excited about that. I do keep this cutting in bright indirect light, and that is my northeast facing window, the one right here. So yeah, it does have prime real estate in terms of sunlight, and yeah, so it has been growing really nicely. The next part is I wanted to show you guys how this one has been doing. And if you've watched some of my previous videos, you know that I like to grow everything in LECA. And LECA is basically these clay pebbles right here, these brown clay pebbles. I don't like using soil simply because it's very messy, it's hard to deal with, and with LECA I don't have to worry too much about if I'm overwatering or underwatering the plant. So anyways, I have this growing in a clear container right here which is just a recycled plastic bottle, and then I put it into a container like this just so that you can't see, or the sunlight doesn't penetrate and there's no algae growing on this container right here. So anyways, this is the original area in which I took the cutting, and now you can see that after a month there is also a new shoot that is starting to form. So I am really excited about that. And yeah, just pruning your plant, don't worry, it's not going to hurt it. It's going to actually make it thrive even more, and it will start to produce new shoots. So anyways, I'm going to adjust my camera now so that it's facing the table, and you guys can see me just repot these two guys together. Okay, so let's get started with the repotting. Let me just move this jar right here, and what I'm going to do is actually just dump out some of this LECA into a plastic bag just to hold it so that I can see how the roots of this one is doing. So let's just do this. Yeah, you might, it's actually, some people say that it's better to actually have holes in your container when you are dealing with LECA, because it just helps you drain out the water a little bit better. But I'm kind of lazy, so that's the reason why I just didn't bother putting in any holes. One thing I will say though is that I should at least check the pH level. That's what a lot of people have been telling me, but I still haven't bought like pH level tester, so that is next on my list to buy. Anyways, you guys can see the root system in there, and the roots will actually cling on to the LECA balls. So this has been doing really well, and I find that Monstera really likes LECA more than other substances. But yeah, for me it really just worked very well when it was in LECA. You'll also see that this Monstera is more of a vining plant, and let me just show you guys, good shot right here. So this has started to grow upwards and outwards right here. If you want to take another cutting, you can just take one from here, and you can see that the aerial root is so long, it has already started to put itself into the LECA right here. So the Monstera is really great in that it develops a lot of these aerial roots as well, which just sort of delineate on where you can take a cutting from. Okay, so I've actually gotten to almost the bottom part, and it's not coming out. Like, I've been tugging on this and it hasn't really been moving or coming up anymore, so I don't want to wait. Let me just give it one last push. Yeah, I don't want to struggle with it too hard. But anyways, you guys can see the root system, and then you can see that it was originally 2 cuttings. So the first cutting is this big one right here, and then the second cutting is this smaller 2, the one with the juvenile leaf and the smaller size leaves. The thing about Monstera is I know that they like to be a little bit crowded, so it actually encourages growth when your plant is a little bit more crowded in terms of like the space for the root system. So that's why you shouldn't worry too much about like repotting your Monstera into a bigger pot right away. You want to really allow those roots to develop and grow into the entire pot before, or getting a little bit root bound before you decide to repot your Monstera into a larger pot. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and place it right here so that you guys can see that. Sorry, am I too close to the camera? Okay, anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and place it right here. I want to make sure that the new roots are not too low in the water reservoir, because I usually fill up the water to about here. So you just want to make sure that the roots sit on top, and yeah, so that we don't have any problems with root rot in the future. So I'm just gonna put in the LECA balls again into this container and just cover everything back up. Oops, I'm gonna lose some. Let's just get those later. One of the reasons why I like LECA so much is it is an inert material, so it doesn't really attract pests and stuff. But the thing about that also is that the plant doesn't have any nutrients, unlike when you're dealing with soil. So you will have to put in a nutrient solution into your plants from time to time, but just a word of caution not to over fertilize. I've actually over fertilized one of my plants recently and everything just died out on me, so I'm quite sad about that. But anyways, for this, I've been using Miracle Grow, which has been working quite well for me, so I'm not going to change it. This guy produces leaves about once a month, so I'm very happy with that. We're now actually more in the dormant season, so it's fall approaching winter. Even though we don't have snow here, it still gets a little bit colder. So yeah, it's more of a dormant season right now. So I haven't actually been fertilizing this guy anymore. So during the dormant season, you don't need to fertilize, but during the growing season, you want to fertilize him every 2 weeks or so. This is the final plant, all potted up. I think it does look a lot better than it originally did. I'm actually kind of wondering why my plant doesn't grow a little bit more juvenile leaves. Like, I've seen a lot of other people's monsteras in which they have like small juvenile leaves growing out of the center. And that's actually a look that I want, because I want my plant to look really full coming from the center. So I'm not so sure if it's because I'm not giving this guy enough sunlight, but if I bring him outdoors, of course he's gonna burn. So I'm really unsure about that right now, but overall I would say that I really do love the look of this plant, and yeah, it is producing a lot of really good leaves. So I will give you guys an update on how he has been transitioning from water to LECA. By the way guys, you can grow this plant completely in water, so you don't actually have to transition him into LECA or soil or anything like that. If you want to keep your propagation growing in water, just remember to give it nutrients once in a while and it will be still a very, very happy plant. I just find that growing it in LECA, it can grow a little bit bigger, or it does grow a little bit faster once it has like it's in LECA or it's in soil, which is the reason why I wanted to transfer it right away into a medium like this. Anyways guys, I hope you did enjoy this week's video. Thank you all for watching. If you are interested in other plants that can grow in water, I will link that video up here, so go ahead and watch it. If you enjoyed today's video, please do give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more plant videos. I also talk about designer handbags as well, so you can check out those videos if that is a topic that interests you. Anyways, please do take care, and I will see all of you in a future video. Bye bye.